Hello students, in this session we are going to learn 12th Standard Computer Science second chapter Data Abstraction. The main concept you are going to learn in this session: representation of abstract data type using rational numbers, list, tuples and data abstraction in structures. The main purpose of data abstraction is what? It is used to structure programs. So, the basic idea of data abstraction is to structure programs. Any program consists of two parts. What are they? The two parts of a program are: first part is what? The part that operates on abstract data, and second part is the part that defines concrete representation. So what do you mean by concrete representation? This is the independent part of a program, which means it connected by small set of functions that implement abstract data in terms of concrete representation. Okay, now let us see about rational numbers. So what are rational numbers? The numbers that can be written as an integers is called rational numbers. The ratio of two integers is called rational numbers, and it is the important subclass of real numbers. What are real numbers? Real numbers includes natural numbers, rational numbers and irrational numbers. Okay, rational number can be expressed in the form of A by B. A over B. Here A means what? A means numerator and B means denominator. So all the rational numbers having these two parts. What are they? Numerator and denominator. Okay. For example, 8 by 3. Here 8 is a numerator and 3 is the denominator. Suppose when we divide the integer 8 over 3, we will not get exact value for this rational numbers. We will get the approximate value or floating point value. Okay. We are using one powerful strategy for designing programs. What is that? That is wishful thinking. What do you mean by wishful thinking? Wishful thinking is nothing but decision making based on self-delusion, which means making decisions according to our self-delusion. Self-delusion means imaginations instead of appealing to reality. Because here we have not said how a rational number is represented and how the constructors and selectors should be implemented. Okay, so let us write the pseudocode for representation of rational numbers. Here we are taking constructor function is rational and the selector functions are numerator and denominator. Here write the values 8 and 3, x, y equal to 8, 3. So here the value 8 is stored in x, the value 3 is stored in y. Okay, what is the constructor function? Rational. The rational numbers having two parts. What are they? Numerator and denominator. Okay, n for numerator and d for denominator. So this is the function to build the rational number. And now we created a constructor. Next, write the selectors. Numerator value of x divided by denominator value of y. What is the definition of constructor? Constructors are functions that is used to build the abstract data type. So here we created abstract data type for rational number. What is the definition of selector? Selectors are functions. It is used to retrieve the information from abstract data type. Okay. Here we already created one abstract data type. The selector is used to extract the details or extract the information from already stored in abstract data type. Okay. In constructor, x and y values are given. So numerator of x means what? It returns the numerator of rational number x. Denominator y means it returns the denominator of rational number y. right? Numerator of x means 8 and denominator of y means 3. What is the answer? So output 2.6666, etc. So this is the pseudocode for the representation of rational numbers. Okay. Now coming to the next topic, list and tuples. Some programming languages like Python provides a compound structure to implement the abstraction. This compound structure is called as pairs. So this pair is made up of list or tuples. Okay. So what is pair? Some programming languages like Python provides a compound structure to implement the data abstraction. This compound structure is called pairs. This pair is made up of list or tuples. Okay. So now let us see about list and tuples. First, what do you mean by list? Sequence of values surrounded within square brackets and separated by commas. This is called list. And what do you mean by tuples? Sequence of values surrounded within parentheses and separated by commas. This is called tuples. Okay. What is list? A sequence of values surrounded within square brackets. What is tuples? Sequence of values surrounded within parentheses. Next point, list is used to store different types of values. But tuples are used to store same type of values. Okay. A different type means what? In a list, we can store different types of values. It may be integer type or floating point type or character type and so on. You can store any type of values in a list. For example, suppose you want to store the information about a person. You can write his name, his ID number and his phone number. You can write any type of values because here name is a character type, ID is an integer type and phone number is also integer type. So you can store any type of values in a list. But in a tuple, you can store same type of values. For example, take some colors. Color equal to red, green. Here red is a character type and green also character type. So you should store same type of values in a tuple. Okay. Next point is it is mutable. Mutable means what? You can change the elements. You can modify the elements. Those are available in a list. Okay. Here in tuple it is immutable. Immutable means here the elements cannot be changed. You cannot change the elements of a tuple once it is assigned. Okay. The list and tuples can be accessed in two ways. First way is multiple assignment. What do you mean by multiple assignment? In this way, the elements are stored in a list and each element binds to a different name. For example, this is a list. Here 10 and 20 are the elements that are stored in a list. These elements are separated by comma and surrounded within square brackets. Okay. So this is called list. Here in a multiple assignment method, each element in a list is bounded with another one name. That is x will becomes 10 and y will becomes 20. Okay. 10 is assigned to x and 20 is assigned to y. Let us see the second method. So second method for accessing elements in a list is by element selection operator. Here this operator is expressed by using square brackets. So for example, this element selection operator is expressed in square brackets. So this is the another form. Here 0 is the index position and 10 is a value. And here 1 is the index position and 20 is a value. So bundling of two values into one can be considered as pair. So this list and tuples are called as pairs. Okay. Pseudocode for this list and tuples. So we already discussed about rational numbers. Rational numbers having two parts. What are they? Numerator and denominator. This is the pseudocode for the list and this is the pseudocode for the tuples. So it returns the numerator and denominator value in result. So if you are calling numerator value x, it returns the value that is present in 0th position. What is the meaning of this? Index position, which means the x variable is stored in 0th position. So next, if you are calling the denominator variable, it returns the value that is present in first position. So this is the pseudocode for list and this is the pseudocode for tuples. Here 1 and 2 is stored in tuple nums. 1 is stored in 0th position and 2 is stored in first position. So this is the pseudocode for tuples. Next let us see about data abstraction in structures. See this definition. Structure is a group of data items of different data types represented by a single name. Group of data items, a sequence of values of different data types that represented by a single name. Next point, in object-oriented programming languages, this structure is called as class. So what do you mean by class? Class means collection of objects. What do you mean by object? Object is a instance of a class. So now let us see the difference between list and structure in data abstraction. Okay. If you want to store the information about a person, first name and last name, mobile number, email ID. If you want to store the information about a person in a list, you can write like this. Okay. So here, these are the elements that are stored in a list person. Each element is bounded with another one name, which means this Batmashri name is binds with the variable first name and it is stored in the variable last name. This mobile number is stored in the variable mobile number and this mail ID is stored in email variable. So what is the name of the list? Person. Okay. So this is list. But if you want to store the information about more than one person, then what you will do? Now you need to create several variables again and again for each person. So if you want to store 100 number of persons in a list, this is very difficult to write these variables again and again. Okay. So this way is very difficult to store the information for several persons. Okay. Because you need to create several variables for each person. So it is very difficult. But you can solve this problem by using structure. How will you solve this problem? For that, you just create the structure person that has the members for first name, last name, mobile number, email. This is the class name, which means class is also called as what? Structure. This is structure and this is the function that is used to create the structure data type and these are called variables. First name, last name, mobile number, email are called what? Variables. It's used to store the information about the person. So these are the data members. It comes under the structure person. So if you want to store the information of several persons, use this structure for every person. For several number of persons, you just create the objects P1, P2, P3 and so on. Okay. So this is the pseudocode for the person using structure. Okay. So let us see an example. So you are taking cookie cutter as a class. Using this cookie cutter, you can make many cookies. Okay. Here cookie cutter is called class. These pieces of cookies are called objects. So we can define a class, bundle the data and the function that work on the data. Okay. This is called class. So this is about data abstraction in structures. Thank you, students.